What happens when your reality doesn't match up with what you're trying to manifest? Yeah, the goals that you're setting aren't real. And I still suffer with this sometimes. I'm like, the bank account is not what I want it to look like, and how do I get into an abundant mindset and open up to growth when I'm just not feeling it? Okay, so I wanted to just talk through like the 6 steps that I go through, and that I've helped other people go through as well. When people come to me and they go, "Yeah, Helen, I get it, but you don't understand. Like, I cannot get in the zone. I cannot get into a positive mindset, never mind an abundant mindset." Okay, so step 1, first thing that I do is I get into an awareness, right? So you've got to be self-aware in business. You've got to be open to self-examination, and it's not always pretty, right? And sometimes, because you're not competing against anybody but yourself, you're not, trying to compare yourself against anyone but yourself. So you have to do a lot of inner work in terms of like, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? How am I showing up? And what is that actually meaning? So this is where it's time to go in. So I want you to identify your own thoughts and your own feelings and the language that you're using and the behaviors that you're exhibiting right now. Write them down, So it could be that you're talking about being broke, or you're talking about how frustrated you are in your business, or you're talking about you're looking for people who are also feeling this kind of way, and you're kind of like, that misery loves company. Are you kind of like on a bit of a negative trip? You're on a bit of a downward spiral. Are you like looking for problems and looking for people that are going to allay your fears that this is all not working and it's not going to work for me and things like that? So really think about, what are the things that you are thinking and what are the things that you are saying. And I think for me, for me, my language is always the first thing that I see or I hear. If I start saying to people like, "Oh, cash flow is really a problem," or, "Oh, I'm feeling really broke," or like, "No one's buying my offers," or I don't know if, if I'm start to speak in a negative language, if we get what we put out into the world, right? So this is like, so it's really important to catch yourself and really get into an awareness of, I am not in a great space. I'm not in a great place. I'm not saying the right things. I'm not thinking the right things. I'm not feeling the right feelings. Yeah. Because abundance is a feeling, abundance is not measurable. Abundance is a feeling and a knowing that we are in an abundant universe and there's enough for everybody, more than enough for everybody. And it's not that if I have something, you don't. If you have something and then I don't. It's that feeling, that awareness of the abundance that is in the universe, and particularly for your business, So step 1 is identification. Step 1 is actually saying, right, okay, hold my hand up. I'm not in a great place, and this is how I know. And just really identifying how you're thinking and feeling. The next step for me is to reconnect with, why am I doing it? What do I really want? Rewriting, revisiting the goals, but also the desired version of me. Like, what am I doing all this for? How do I want to feel? So when I hit my goal, like, how is that going to make me feel? What am I going to do as a, who am I going to be as a person? How I'm going to walk, talk, think, and act. Creating the desired identity and thinking about how that version of you thinks, feels, speaks, and the language that you're going to use and the energy that you're going to be in, like really reconnecting with that version of you, because the moaning, miserable, negative part of you is still part of you. So like the positive, abundant, earth goddess part of you is also part of you, right? So just creating in your mind, on your paper, like in your vision of like this new desired identity of you. Then the third step is to understand it is totally possible, even if it feels like nothing is impossible, obviously, but even if it feels like it might never happen, or it's just not going to happen for you, and it's all right for everyone else, but it's just not going to. I'm here to tell you it is possible for you. Look for evidence Look for evidence that people like you have had the success that you want. Go and find people who've done the things that you want to do and look at them. Are they really any different to you? And I tell you now, they are not. Yeah. Find people. You want to do 10 grand months. You want to do a 6-figure launch. You want to have a 7-figure business, whatever it is that you're like working towards. Go and find those people that are doing it right now. Follow them. Read their blogs, that's very nice. Read their blogs, their articles, their social media, their books if they've written one. Like I love to really read autobiographies of people who've been really successful, so I can see that they've had loads of shit too, and they'll have had moments where they felt like giving up and they felt like nothing was working and might never work for them. So really filling your inputs with people who've done the thing that you want to do really helps you see the possibility. And even if you cannot find a single person who's done what you want to do, you can still be the first. Yeah. You'll find lots of stories, autobiographies, biographies of people who've done things that no one had ever done before. And that in itself is really inspiring. So one of the things that I do is look outside of business as well. I really like reading books about sports and endurance and like the military and like, just people who've done things beyond what we consider normal, like beyond my sort of social circle. Like, I don't know anyone who's been to the North Pole, for example. So to read a story of that and all the things that you have to overcome to do that. And, like I love David Goggins, for example. I just think his story is brilliant. His books are brilliant. His like mindset and attitude. And it's like, I just feel like you always take something away. And sometimes I hear David's voice in my head of like, this is what we do now. So like when it feels hard, it's like, this is what we do now. And you'll always take something from someone's story for sure. Like, I don't know, whatever you're passionate at. Like I love sport. I love fitness. I don't know, look at me, but you know what I mean? I love people who are really into sport and fitness and can do really cool things. I also love like successful music artists, people who do like mad endurance things like 50-mile marathons, 50 days or whatever. I just feel like people who do stuff like that are just got like a level of fuck it in them, that other people maybe don't have. And I always think there's something to be learned from them. So look, accept that whatever you want to achieve is possible for you. That's step 3. Okay, so step 4 is opening yourself up to the opportunities. At the same time, simultaneously being grateful for what you have. And that sounds a little bit difficult. So, for example, say you want to have a more successful business so you can buy a big house. Yeah. So open up to the possibility that could happen for you. And you could be mortgage free and all the other things that you might desire, but also be super grateful for your rented 2-bed right now, So it's almost like that duality of like, I want this thing, but I also love that I have what I have right now, and that old version of me that just loved this, So really being grateful and on an abundance level. And I read about this, I think it was yesterday. But talking about abundance, just go out into nature. Like I was on the beach in Turkey and I was like, that is a lot of grains of sand. Like there's an abundance of sand here, and I look, just looking over your shoulder at the garden, it's so green. There's so many leaves. There's an abundance of leaves. The leaves just keep on coming no matter what, with the rain and the storm and the conditions, the leaves just keep on coming. So it's kind of like being super grateful for what you have, your health. You can be super grateful. So for example, with fitness, I desire to get my black belt in kickboxing and to be super fit at the gym. I need to put something more specific on that. Like, for example, I squat 50. So let's say I want to be able to squat 75, whatever. I want to be able to jump on a box, seen that on the internet. In fact, I watched a compilation of about 40 people falling face first off those boxes. But, I want to be able to do pull-ups. I want to be able to do the monkey bars. Anyway, these are my things, right? But I'm super, super grateful that I have my brown belt in kickboxing because I was desperate to get that. That was a massive thing for me. So I'm super grateful, and I'm super grateful that I've got my legs to get me up the stairs to the gym, even if I'm not able to jump up on a box yet, if that makes sense. So it's like, I really want these things, but I'm also super grateful for where I am. So it's the same with your finances, with your business. It's like, yes, I want to do £1 million launch, but I'm super grateful for the 100 grand launch, right? So it's kind of like super grateful, but also wanting the next thing, but not only wanting the next thing and not having gratitude for where you are. But I think it's really cool to look back and think the old version of you would have really, really been happy with where you are now. So lost my train of numbers because I changed it before. So I think this is 5. And if it's not, sorry. So number 5, and when I have shifted my mindset, I've surrounded myself with the positive stuff, I've understood what's possible, I've been in my gratitude, I've set my goals, and I've realigned with my goals, and I've done what I need to do to hit the goal, most importantly. So let's say I'm doing a launch, do a 5-day challenge, we open the cart on the Wednesday, we close it on the Sunday. I've done what I needed to do. I showed up, I did my thing, right? On the Sunday, when it's the last day of the launch, I get into what we call receiving mode. And what receiving mode is an acceptance that you've done everything that you can do, and now it's out of your hands. Yeah. So receiving mode is an allowing energy of like, I'm ready to receive. And I'm like literally physically sitting back, opening up to that. And how I do it is I minimize my phone time. Because me refreshing the spreadsheet on sales is not going to help the sales. Yeah, it's just going to keep me in that energy of like, instead I go to the cinema. Yeah, I always go to the cinema because I can't have my phone, or maybe I'll go to the spa because I can't have my phone. Like I need to be forced off my phone, basically. Or I'll read a physical book, so I'm not on my phone. So just getting into that receiving mode, doing things for me, reconnecting with me, having gratitude and happiness for all the good things, and just being happy and grateful and almost detached from the outcome, which is super hard. I know it's super hard. I don't think I could really teach on that because it's really hard for me to detach from the outcome. Okay, and then finally, number 6, what do we do when we fall off the bus of, the abundant mindset, right? And we fall back into scarcity? Is we just go back to the beginning. And the first step is always awareness. So it's almost like you can catch yourself. Like, oh yeah, I've started moaning again. I've started thinking negatively again. I've started worrying about things I can't change. I've started gravitating towards people who are also in this kind of victim, poor me mindset. Yeah. And then it's literally just going back to that beginning, but having some accountability and having some people around you where you can say, do you know what? I've just gone into miserable mode instead of like positive abundance mode, and really understanding these steps and saying, right, where are we and what do we need to do next? Very practical, like these are the things that we're going to do. So I think you can go through these steps in a day, or probably even in an hour, but quite often it's a process of like slowly, because it's quite hard to catch yourself, you sort of spiral down into it. So then when you catch yourself and start to spiral back up, it is a process. So go easy on yourself. You're only human. You're a human having a human experience with all the humanness that involves. So like, give yourself grace for sure. And then back on it, back on the bus. So hopefully that helps. If you are feeling a little bit stuck in a scarcity mindset and you do want to shift your energy and your experience into more of an abundant space and be open up to growth and hitting those goals, then hopefully these 6 steps will help you. Don't forget, if you like this, leave me a nice comment. If you hated it, please don't ever come to my channel again. And if you've enjoyed it, please do subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys.